My name is Benjamin Madrid, and I'm an actor. So there are many reasons that people get into the business of acting. Mine began in church when I was a kid. My parents were both pretty involved. My mom was a choir teacher, and my dad was a musician. I think I got put in church plays not because I was good, but because I was just around the most, you know? But at some point, I guess the applause stuck, and I got addicted. Our church was pretty strict. We didn't have a TV in the house, and we also weren't allowed to go see movies in the theater. So when VHS came out in the 80s, somehow we were allowed to watch things as long as we weren't watching on cable. I suppose the devil is in basic cable, but not in VHS tapes. Anyway, I watched my first movie in a theater when I was 18. I know, crazy. After that, I didn't really act again until I was in my late 20s, and even then, I started doing stand-up comedy, not acting. Eventually, I started to do little movies in my backyard, and I did a little public access show with my brother, and somehow we ended up writing and directing about 8 episodes. That was pretty terrible, but I learned a ton. I eventually went to classes at Second City in Chicago, and I found out that if you wanted to be on SNL, you go to the IO Theater in Chicago. That's the Improv Olympic. I got an agent in my early 30s, and I was awful, so bad. I didn't understand auditions at all. My agent at the time was pretty reputable, but she was pretty old school. So if somebody didn't pick up on how to do things, she didn't really have time to mentor them. I didn't get that, so I was floundered, to be honest. To listen to other people, that's what I eventually did. I listened to other people, and eventually I sort of figured things out by just failing. I decided a few years later, after starting to act, that if I wanted to get more auditions, then I probably needed more agents. It worked. I got 2, and then I got 3. That natural progression, that illumination helped me to just, get more and more and more and more jobs. Eventually I had about 13 or so, and I traveled all over the US. At age 35, I was working full-time as an actor, booking about 10% of the jobs I did. And that amounted to about 50 or so acting and modeling jobs a year. 99% of those were out of major cities, and most of them were commercial in nature. Even after all that information and learning, though, through failure and success, I still wanted to find out what I was missing. So when I saw an opportunity to work inside an agency that was growing in a very unusual way, that had owners that were savvy, more savvy than most, I pitched myself to them in business development. I took a break from acting, I dropped all my agents, and I went to learning what goes on inside of an agency, knowing that eventually I would return to acting smarter than ever. So that's what I did. Now, I'm not the best actor on the planet. I may not even be a good one, but I know some information that I found to be pretty helpful. And God knows I failed enough learning it. So Lumiere Academy was born because I got tired of watching people take classes from people that hadn't really ever done the work. Young actors wasting money on classes taught by casting directors or agencies looking for an extra buck with no intention of actually really helping the actor. I'm not sure why anybody would take classes from somebody that hadn't acted, but they do it all the time. So we're going to change that. You wouldn't hire a plumber that knows a lot of plumbers, right? Or has worked around a lot of plumbers or read a lot of plumbing books. No, you'd hire a plumber that could show you, yeah, I did that kind of work and here's what that looks like. One with experience to teach you. And acting, it's not any different. It's a skill set. It's learned from people that have done it and are doing it. So, once I started working inside of an agency, I went out and got to talk to directors and photographers from all over the non-union and union world. I asked them, what do you really want when you see auditions? How do you choose? And they told me hundreds of them, and now I'm going to share that with you. Not only that information, but what I've learned too, after several hundred gigs, some TV spots, and a few movies, all without ever joining SAG. So that's me. And all those lessons and learning from failure is what I bring to the table. And now, I'm going to share that with you. Welcome to Lumiere. I'm Benjamin. Let's do this.